Stop watching self-development videos the wrong way. See, there's a right way and a wrong way to consume the content. Self-development videos can be good if you use it the right way. I was the dude at 25 years old that was smoking weed every day, morning and night, playing video games, obsessed with porn, jerking off. I lacked ambition. I had very low levels of confidence. My first girlfriend just left me for another man. And I was watching a lot of self-development content around that time. And I wasn't taking any action. I got zero results, taking no action, watching more videos than ever. But I've also been the dude who watched the self-development videos who've accomplished a lot in my life. I went from that to this guy living in the Miami penthouse. All right, and it was because of self-development videos. So clearly there's a right way and a wrong way to consume and implement the content. And I want to talk to you guys about my journey, the mistakes I made, the wrong way to do it, that you're probably doing a couple of those things, as well as just give you some applicable things that you could walk away from this video to start implementing into your life while consuming this content. So I was the dude that obsessively watched the videos. That was my whole thing. My first girl had just left me. I was pretty much at rock bottom. I was crying every day. I lacked confidence, lacked ambition, and turned to a lot of vices. That's really what it was. I was an escapist from the world. I buried myself in weed and video games, and then even buried myself from sexual intimacy post-breakup by going into porn and just masturbation and stuff. And so I wasn't going out. I wasn't working on myself. I was just getting high to feel back to baseline, and I was not really doing anything with my life. So I had no sense of fulfillment. I was making probably $12 an hour, doing a pizza delivery job, commuting to college, avoiding all social contact. And I just wasn't happy or fulfilled or confident in any level of my life. But the thing is that I was watching a lot of the content. I was watching the content nonstop. And I think one of the biggest problems with the self-development loop, the hamster wheel of self-development, is you just watch the content over and over again. And you watch a video and it resonates with you. And you learn something from the video. And you watch the dude who went through it, and he's on the other side of it. And he talks about how his journey went through it, just like how you're probably watching this video, and you resonate with that dude, and he gives you a nugget or two that really opens your eyes. And so the problem, though, is that by the end of the video, you have a sense of accomplishment, as if you did something, as if you learned some new thing, which technically, in theory, keyword, in theory, you did. You did learn something new in theory. You didn't experience anything new, though. And understand, growth comes from experience. Okay, so I was watching all of these videos, and my mindset was opening or expanding a little bit. But the problem was I wasn't actually changing as an individual. I would watch the video, I would learn something, I would then get a sense of accomplishment from that thing. And the other messed up part of the whole thing was, I would typically watch these videos after my delivery job was over, so I would go home and smoke weed. So I was already in this weird mindset of being high, watching the content. And so I'm high, watching the content, and I'm associating myself with the people that I was watching, but being in a fantasy world, seeing how they're doing it and imagining that I'm doing it. I got very good at imagining that I was doing it. Because the theory was, I was able to see myself doing it, but not in a manifestation kind of a way. It was honestly a cop-out. I felt accomplished by the end of the video. And so I would watch those videos over and over again. And the other problem with self-development content, guys, is you'll watch the video, you feel accomplished, instantly YouTube or whatever platform brings you into the next piece of content. Then you'll start watching half of that content, and the next one doesn't really hit the same. And now you're chasing that sense, that feeling that you got from the first one, because the second one's kind of boring, and maybe you even just get distracted in it. You end up on some bullshit video after that. Then you go back to another self-development video to go back to the sense of accomplishment or inspiration or motivation. But understand that those feelings don't give you any experience in the thing that you're going after. Whether that's social confidence, whether that's business, branding, whether that's filming the content, whether that's your fat loss journey, whether that's giving up porn, weed, drugs. It doesn't matter what the thing is. We all watch all these different topics, right? You watching the content doesn't really do shit other than it could give you a little bit of insight. Remember I said earlier, the key word was in theory. You do learn something. All right, and that was my problem, is that I would do that indefinitely. I would spend over an hour, especially because I was high. I would just zone out and get lost in these loops of thinking, well, at least I'm not playing video games, at least I'm learning. But you're really not. You're reinforcing bad behaviors by going through that process. And so after about 10 months, my girlfriend left me. It was like 9 or 10 months later. I was watching so much content around confidence and putting myself out there and getting uncomfortable and going up and approaching strangers and cold approach and all these different things. I was watching all this content and 10 months went by, and then I realized I haven't even made a single approach. I can't even go out and take the approach. I was watching all of this content on advanced concepts. I was literally a theory junkie. I was a theory junkie. I could tell you every definition and every concept, and I could explain it almost just as good as the teacher could explain it. But the problem was I wasn't doing anything with it. Zero experience was gained. So in my opinion, I actually went backwards because I put so much content into my brain that now it was even hard to do step one. Because if I went out to try to do step one and I saw the girl, I would already be thinking in theory, well, then step 2 is going to have to be like this, and then step 3 is going to have to be like this, and then step 4 is going to have to be like this, and then step 5 is going to have to be like this. Oh man, that's a lot of pressure. I don't know if I could execute step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now it's a big deal. It's a big deal. And by the time I'm thinking all of that shit, I'm even more in my head. Now there's more doubt coming in. And this is not just with approaching. This has nothing to do with cold approach and pickup, guys. This has to do with you trying to film content. You trying to make that business or that brand that you've been wanting to do. Maybe for some of you guys it is around social comments. It's like asking that girl out or just going up and making the approach. I mean, it's like literally asking that dude to come get a workout with you. I don't know what it is, but it's probably a combination of these things. But honestly, you need to bring it back to just what is the first step. We get so caught up in step 2, 3, 4, 5 that naturally we're overthinking at that point. And then naturally, since our brain is used to thinking so much, it's going to supply us with all of the potential doubts that could go wrong with step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. It's no longer even about us taking action on step 1 and the things around that. Now we have, well, step 1 could go wrong, but step 2, I wonder if I'm going to be able to do that right. And what if I do that part wrong, or that could fail? Oh, but that could also go wrong. Step 4 could also go wrong. And now there's all this risk. And by the time you do all of that, man, you miss the fucking opportunity. With this, if it's the content, you sit there and plot it out for days. I have sat down and thought about content for days on end. And by the time I sat and plotted all of it out, I no longer even had the motivation or the inspiration to make that piece of content. I was over it. I missed the window. And when I saw the girl, I was so in my head thinking about step 2, 3, 4, 5. I didn't even say hi. I didn't even give a compliment and leave. I said, I didn't do anything. I didn't even do step 1. And that girl walked away, and then I missed the window. Don't miss the window, man. And that's the problem with watching too much self-development content is you watch a video, and then you think you need to watch another video, and you got to learn another thing. You don't. So my advice would be, guys, you watch a tiny bit of content every day. A tiny bit. I would say less than 30 minutes, no more than an hour. 100% no more than an hour. If you're watching more than that, you're over-consuming, in my opinion. If you really want to watch something, you watch the same video. Do not go on to new videos. Because if you're watching 30 minutes of content, you're not absorbing all 30 minutes. I promise you're not absorbing all 30 minutes. Dudes come into my program, I tell them watch module 1, you're going to watch the self-talk and the mindset module. And if you want to watch anything else, you're not going to YouTube, you're not going anywhere else. You're going to rewatch this module over and over and over again until you get really fucking good at this thing. We need to get really good at step 1. You're not worried about step 2, step 3, step 4. You're not even in the headspace to see that step. You can't get into that headspace until you got really fucking good at step 1, man. That is your sole goal, is to take that one step over and over and over again, and you watch that same piece of content. You want to get so good to build such a good foundation with step 1 that now we can build an addition on top of it. Think about that. We need to get so good at taking that first step to build a really solid foundation so we can then build an addition on top of it. I need to get really good at juggling just 2 balls so I could do that with my eyes closed and then add in a 3rd ball. And then I could juggle 3. And then I could juggle 4 once I got really comfortable. You don't just go into juggling a shitload and then you try to throw in a 5th one. You got to get comfortable with the previous step, and that takes consistency. Don't even think about the next step, bro. So pick the one thing that you need to be focusing on this week that's going to really move the needle in your business, in your self-development journey, in your dating life, in your fat loss, and in your physique journey. in your removal of vices journey, it's not you need to do 1,000 things. You need to just do one thing right now for this week and just have laser focus on this. We have this much mental bandwidth per day to put into uncomfortable action. And when you spend half of it thinking about other steps, now you only have this much mental bandwidth to actually take the first step today. So if you're watching the content, you're gonna only watch 30 to 60 minutes max. And if you need to watch even more, you're watching the same fucking piece of content, dude. Run it back. Run it back. It's gonna hit deeper into your subconscious. You really need to feel this shit on a deep level to the point where you could teach it, dude. All right? Run it back. And then also, don't be sitting home high watching content. If you're watching the content, the only time I will ever consume content is during a hard workout, or if I'm walking around getting some sunlight in, getting some steps in, and filming my content and putting out good vibes and good energy out into the world simultaneously. Those are the only two times I'm watching content. At the very, very end of my day, at the end of a 15 or 16 hour workday, I may take an hour to chill. If I really want to watch TV once every 3 days, once every 2 days, I'll put it on for an hour. If I'm gonna watch a movie, it will take me more than 1 day to watch the movie. I will not sit through a whole movie. Maybe I'll do that on a monthly basis. I'm not saying I'll never watch a full movie again, but self-development can be a vice, just like movies and video games. So you need to do it sparingly. I recommend doing it while you're doing other actions. And if you're gonna watch content, you don't watch more than 30 to 60 minutes, and you extract the one piece, the biggest actionable step that's relevant to you today, and you're gonna do that over and over and over again for a week until you're a master at that step, until you're really good at that step. And when you start to get really, really good at step one, what you'll find is you're gonna automatically be thrown into step two without even trying. If I'm thinking about where am I gonna carry the conversation with the girl, and I'm so in my head, and I bring it back down to, let me just say something in passing, and you just focus on that 10 times a day for a week straight, if you get really good at saying that confidently to people, you'll notice that a bunch of those people actually, a small percentage will try to carry the conversation with you. They will bring you into step two because you're getting really good at step one. But if you start thinking about where am I gonna take the conversation, how am I gonna ask the girl out, how am I gonna get the phone number, you won't even do step one. If I'm thinking about how am I gonna plot out this masterful video for weeks, I won't even turn the camera on. The moment I just turn the camera on and start filming the video, by the time I'm done with the video, I then see how I could go back and refilm the video even better. But it's not until I tried filming the video that I then see the lane to really film the video even better. That's how it is. This is my second take on this video. I didn't know how the hook was gonna go. I didn't know the structure of the video until I turned on the goddamn camera and I started riffing for the first 3 minutes. If I sat here and plotted it out for an hour, I would have been so in my head. I said, hold on, put on the fucking camera, dude. What is step one? Sit down, put on the camera. I could sit here. What's the shot gonna be? This is kitchen lighting. Where's my microphone? There's an echo in here. Do the fucking step, bro. Do the step today. Watch the content, absorb the action-based step, and go do that thing over and over and over again relentlessly. It took me 10 months of watching content with zero action. I watched 10 months of content, zero action, got more in my head. The moment I went to go out and approach or go to the girl, all of that shit went out the window. 90% of your plotting and analyzing goes out the fucking window the moment the whole process starts. All right, so watch the video, figure out your goal. What is the goal for today? And start taking action on that thing relentlessly. And if you need to watch more content, you go back and watch the same thing over and over and over again until you get really good at that step, and then you'll know you're ready for step two. All right, that's how you go about watching self-development videos. If you want to fast track your results, guys, because watching videos is great, but honestly, talking to somebody directly who can give you the next step, who's been through the process, who can point out your blind spots and hold you accountable on them, that's why I also didn't get a lot of progress. I had no accountability. I needed someone to tell me, stop watching that, watch this, do this, report back to me on this day, and we're gonna talk about this thing on this call. Go. All right, if that's what you want, get into my new program. Click the link below. It comes with a 30-minute onboarding call directly with me. I'm gonna sit down with you, craft out your goals. I will assign you the exact content for you to watch this week. No more fucking YouTube. I'm gonna tell you exactly what to watch based on your goals. These are the action items. This is how you're gonna do this. There's a daily live call with me every day. Which call are you coming to at which time? Okay, cool. Coming to this call, you're gonna have this done. You could DM me directly in here. Here's my number. If you have any questions, you come to any of these calls. You have 500 like-minded dudes also going through this at the community to support you. And then we just run with it. Okay, you could try that whole program out for a month for $100-something. If you're anything less than blown away by the end of the month, I'll give you a full refund. You have nothing to lose, bro. You're actually losing money by sitting home watching more and more content. Give me a month to transform your life for $100-something. And worst case scenario, you get the money back and you got some coaching for free in the process. All right, click the button below. Do not watch another video. Stop watching videos. Click the button below. Let's get it popping, man. It's Saturday morning, 6:30 a.m. I just crushed my workout. I got to get to it, man. I'm done watching content for the day. Let's go.